So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Morning Flow. And today we are going to focus on grounding and making an effort more often to have a particular focus or theme to the class, which is particularly helpful for putting things up on YouTube and for finding them later and having people out on YouTube looking for us, being able to find what they need if it's something specific they're looking for. So at the start, nothing different. We'll start out seated as we often do, and we often start by grounding into our seat. Feel that contact with the ground. Whether we're focusing on grounding or not, we practice it a lot. Today, I'll talk about it more. So feel into the grounding of your seat. Tune into the length of your spine, the height of your spine. Think of the crown of your head reaching towards the ceiling or the sky. And do what you like with your hands. They might rest on the floor. They might rest on your legs. So hands, palms up can be for receptivity, and for grounding, it can be palms down. And you can have palms up and think about grounding. It's not one size fits all. Whatever you want to do with your hands, and close your eyes if you want. Whatever you want to do with your eyes. Let your breathing slow down and get deeper. Noticing the movements of your breathing and the way those movements feel this morning. How does the inhale feel? How does the exhale feel? As you inhale, can you feel maybe an increase in grounding? Do you feel that more on the exhale? We often talk more in standing postures, but it can apply here too about rooting to rise, rising to root. So part of the action of the inhale is as the lungs fill, the spine lengthens, maybe your head goes up a little. As you exhale, the spine contracts, and maybe you feel that increased grounding sensation in your seat. And we'll add in a mudra here before we continue on with some of the usual opening things. So a mudra is just a shape we make with our hands. And so this, when we go like this with the palms up, that's a receptive mudra, focusing inward. So the mudra today will be for grounding, and it's called the Boo Mudra, not B-O-O, like I want to startle you, but B-H-U. And it's for grounding, and it is to fold your pinky and ring finger down, tuck your thumb over those fingertips so you have peace fingers, and you're just going to plant the fingertips on the ground. Wherever works for you, might be in front of you, might be out next to you. And if you want, keep your eyes open or closed, whichever works. And so this is a grounding mudra. This is supposed to increase our energetic grounding. And there's a mantra you can use with this, either now or later. You could use it repeatedly if you're doing a seated meditation with this mudra. And that mantra is, my energetic roots run deep into the living earth. So if you want, you can say that to yourself. Maybe it's out loud, maybe it's just in your mind. My energetic roots run deep into the living earth. Grounding exercises, grounding mantras, mudras can be helpful when you feel unsettled, when you feel disconnected, scattered, upset. When you, in other words, are in need of increased grounding. My energetic roots run deep into the living earth. And you can continue with the mudra, maybe continue with the mantra, or just bring your hands to a more restful posture. And scan your body, take in whatever sensations are there. Maybe instead of head to toe, like I often say, we scan from the ground up. Feel into the parts of your body touching the ground. Notice whatever there is to notice, whatever sensations are present. Then work your way up from the ground, scanning your body. Take in what's going on with your lower back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, arms, neck, and head. Taking note in particular of anything that's out of sorts this morning, any stiffness or soreness you want to stay mindful of. Practicing self-care by skipping or modifying whatever portions of practice you need to accommodate what you've got going on. And if you have in mind setting an intention for yourself this morning, but in addition to these shared intentions we've just gone over, let that solidify and sink in for a few breaths. You don't have to have a personal intention, but many like to include that as part of their practice. And with all of our intentions in place, let's share 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sigh. And let your eyes open up if they're closed. And bring your hands out to the sides now and rest your fingertips on the floor. Not needing a mudra here, just all the fingertips or whatever fingertips work for you, staying long in the spine. Inhale, raise your left arm up alongside your ear. As you exhale, reach across to the right, ground into the right palm. Feeling for lengthening from your left hip up through your left fingertips. Inhaling, come upright. As you exhale, float your left hand down behind you, bring your right hand to your left leg, and press into your left fingertips. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, explore, deepening your twist a bit with each breath. So grounding in your seat still, maybe feel that grounding shift as you twist. Grounding into those fingertips, helping the upper body maybe twist a bit more. See how much twist feels like enough. And let yourself unwind from the twist, come back through center. Inhaling, raise your right arm. Exhaling, reach across to the left, ground into your left hand. My self-care this morning is taking care of a twinge I've got in the back of my left hip. So I'm not going so far right here because it doesn't feel so great to go further than that. Inhale to come upright. As you exhale, come into the twist, grounding in the hand behind you, lengthening up as you inhale, inviting your body to go further as you exhale. Not aiming to go as far as you can, aiming to see how much feels like enough. let yourself come back through center. Let's make some circles with the neck. Let your chin come down towards your chest. Take your time to roll your ear towards your shoulder. Let your head tip back. And other ear towards the other shoulder. Really taking your time. If you come across a knot in the neck, a tight spot, you might pause there and rock back and forth and maybe ease out that knot. Maybe just loosen it. Maybe it doesn't quite untie yet. Doing what you want with your hands. Maybe they're on the floor, maybe they're on your legs. At some point, change the direction of your circles and take a few going the other way. And when you finish your next circle, look forward again. And let's come up onto our hands and knees. Take your time getting there. Be sure to open your hands all the way up. Feel your whole palms grabbing the mat or the ground. Maybe you have a mat, maybe you don't. Don't have to have a mat. Open the hands way up. Bring the shoulders above the wrists and the hips above the knees. And yes, if your knees are sensitive to having weight on them, it can be nice to have something extra under your knees. Might be a folded mat or the edge of your mat folded up, or a blanket. We'll take a few cow and cat breaths here from table. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up. Let your head and tailbone come down. Now, this is an old familiar move. We do this a lot. Even with familiar things, we can just shift the focus and notice the grounding in your knees and your hands. When you have contact with the ground with your feet, that might not feel so grounding. Maybe your feet sort of slide back and forth as your body moves. But in any posture, we can tune into our contact with the ground and the energy of grounding. It can be helpful to look at any pose or any movement from the ground up, the foundation. Without a good foundation, the house doesn't stand up. And after your next exhale, come back to table. Reach your right foot back and press the ball of your foot against the ground. And with an inhale, pick your foot up, reach straight back through the ball of your foot. So now your grounding shifts from having one less point of contact. With your next inhale, reach your left arm out to the side. So more core work, more engagement, one less grounding point. Bend your leg, reach back, see if you can take hold of your foot, ankle or pant leg. Kick against your hand, stretch your quad, open your shoulder, look slightly up. Good, if you got the bind, release, and then everyone let your knee and your hand down. Reach back and press into the ball of your left foot. Take a couple breaths, letting that leg lengthen out. With an inhale, pick your foot up and reach straight back. With your next inhale, reach your right arm out to the side. Bend your leg, reach back, see about that bind. Whether you take the bind or not, lift your gaze slightly, opening the midline. And release and lower down. Now let's explore some other movements here from table. Exhale, sit back towards your heels. Inhale, glide forward. And just feel it out. Maybe the movements grow bigger. So maybe with repetition, as you come forward, your hands scoot forward some more. Maybe your shoulders start to shift forward past your wrists. So it's sort of loosely like child's pose, and maybe starts to look a little like Cobra as you come forward. Just feeling into the movement, see what your body needs, not thinking too much about the shape or the look of it. Exploring movement, asking your body how much it wants on each half of the rocking movement. Exhaling back, inhaling forward. And at the end of your next exhale, inhale forward back to table again. And we'll start to stand. Step your left foot up between your hands and step your right foot up to meet it. We come to forward fold, grounding into those feet, letting your head and your arms hang down. Explore swaying back and forth, bending and straightening your leg. So maybe your hands rest on the ground or on blocks or hang in the air. You might grab your elbows or interlace your fingers. Bring your hands to the base of your skull and have some traction through your neck. If your arms are doing something else, let them hang down again. And gently nod your head yes. And shake your head no. Inhaling, lift up halfway, press your hands to the front of your legs, and push against your legs. Feel for the crown of your head reaching forward away from your tailbone. With an exhale, relax down. Inhaling, roll slowly to standing. Bring your arms up overhead and your hands together. And exhale, bring your hands to your arm. And then it's time for my little zoom correction. I step back further away from the laptop so you can see my head. So I modify things a bit for the sake of my video. As long as you can see me and hear me, don't worry about how your video is looking. Let your hands hang at your sides. Lift your right shoulder towards your ear. Shift it back and let it down. And your left shoulder up and back and down. And let's just pause here and feel into the grounding of the feet. Maybe close your eyes. And take in the little swaying that comes with the movement of your breathing. The way your body knows how to stay upright without specific, minute instructions. We're never really still. Even when we play with aiming at stillness, there's always movement. And there's always grounding. Let your eyes open up. Inhale, raise your arms, reach out to the sides. Exhaling, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself, or come to eagle arms. If you take eagle, lift your elbows and hands up and out away from you. Inhale, spread your wings. As you exhale, cross your arms the opposite way. Grab your shoulder blades or take eagle. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale, open up. Exhale, let your arms come down. Inhale your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Flip your palms up. Look up at your hands. Lift up your heart. Perhaps your hips drift forward. Perhaps your head and your hands drift back a bit. Feel how the grounding shifts. Maybe more into your heels. Inhale to come upright. Exhale to bend to the right, feeling the length through both arms. And try not to raise your left heel. Try not to let your left shoulder curl forward past your ear. Inhale to come back up. And as you exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, come back up. And exhale to let your arms come down. We'll start into some sun salutations. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, soft knees. Let the legs do the work. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Make your way from forward fold to plank. With an exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Have some grounding for the whole frontal body. And press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and chest. Maybe just to a low cobra, whatever height of heart opener works for you. Each time we go through the sun salutation sequence. So it might be low cobra. Listen to your low back. Cobra's anywhere in this range where the knees are still down, and when you're ready to lift your knees, if you get there today. Upward facing dog, but they're all heart openers, so they're all good. Exhale, rock back, pass through table, curl your toes under, press into your feet to lift your knees, and press into your hands to lift your tailbone, downward facing dog. And let's walk the dogs, pedal your feet up and down, heels getting closer and closer to the floor. And slowly make your way from downward dog to forward fold again. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We'll go through a couple more. The next one, we're going to add in some additional breaths all along the way and slow it down. And then the third one, we'll speed it up. And that combination of changing the pace is really nicely invigorating. Inhale up. Exhale here. Inhale here. Yeah, it's a little like Simon Says. Exhale, fold. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale here. Inhale here. Exhale, fold. Inhale here. Exhale here. Make your way to your plank. Take at least one full breath, maybe more, in your plank. When you're ready, on an exhale, lower, maybe just halfway. Drop your knees if you want. And if you can, inhale here, halfway down. Pretty challenging. Exhale here if you can. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Exhale here. Inhale here. Exhale, rock back and up to down dog. Pass through table if you want. Inhale and down dog. Exhale and down dog. Make your way to forward fold. Inhale and forward fold. Exhale in forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale here. Inhale here. Exhale, fold. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale here. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale here. Exhale here. First time you do that, you think, oh, extra breaths, it's going to be easier. It's actually not. Now we'll go through a quicker one without the extra breaths. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. Make your way to your plank. It's not a race. You don't have to keep up. When you're ready from plank, exhale, lower halfway or all the way if you like. Inhale to bring your heart forward, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale back and up to downward facing dog. Make your way from down dog to forward fold. Again. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up, hands high. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Drop your hands to your sides. Close your eyes if you want. A few noticing breaths. Feeling the energy coursing through your body. You just nudged the energy level up a bit with that combination of a slow sequence followed by a quicker sequence. And those extra breaths, those pauses in each posture. Something we can do throughout the day, maybe when we're in need of some grounding, is to close the eyes and breathe and notice what we're feeling. Let your eyes open if they're still closed. And bring your hands to your heart. Step your right foot forward. Come up onto the ball of your left foot, high lunge. We want all 10 toes heading in the same direction. As we're going to rock in our hips and move the knees, and we want both knees moving like that. Now you can keep your hands at your heart, pressing them together, pressing them to your sternum can be steadying, or you can play with raising one or both arms. You're going to exhale, sink forward in the hips. Inhale, glide up again. And you can do different arm shapes. Maybe you do cactus arms. And maybe the arms come parallel to the ground. Some folks like to bring the arms forward, and that can be handy if there's a wall too close to extend your arms. I find it less steady than arms out to the side. And the leg movement can be as big or small as you want. See what your body needs. Maybe you got a knee acting up so that leg moves less than the other. And you can always drop the back knee down and do a lower lunge with the same rocking movement. You can always bring a hand to your leg for steadiness and let the other arm float. It's another variation. From the top, let's twist. Right hand forward, left hand back, twist to the left. Come back through center and twist to the right. So we've got, instead of both feet on the ground, really we've got 1.5 feet on the ground. So the grounding is different. It's a more active stance. And yet our body knows how to hold us up and keep us steady through this variety of movements. Come back through center. Bring your hands to your heart. Big push off that back foot, step forward. Excellent. Sometimes it takes more than one step, but we all did it in one. Step your right foot back. Plant the ball of your foot. Find the high lunge. And find steadiness in the placement of the feet. So really find that nice stable grounding. And when you're stable, then bring your arms up. Exhale, sink forward, lower your arms. Inhale, glide back. Now I'm going to demonstrate this back knee down, lower lunge variation on account of what is going on in my body this morning. Because that twinge I mentioned earlier when we were doing the seated twist, it doesn't want me doing a high lunge on that leg right now. So we're modifying. And then from the top of the movement, twist to the right. And even in the twist, you might bring a hand to your leg for steadiness. Come back through center and twist the other way. Come back through center. Big push off the back foot. Oh, wait, sorry. Hands to heart. And then step forward. Okay. I made that a little trickier than it needed to be, but you did it. Better to get the hands to the heart, then step forward, Leo, because this helps steady you, drawing energy to the midline. But we did it. Pausing for a sip of water, which we can do anytime. You all know that. I'm a big fanatic and proponent of hydration, so I always say to people, if you don't have water, bring it next time. Okay, and we're going to play with some balances. We're going to see about maybe standing on one leg. So as we work towards that, if you know that balancing is tricky for you and you want additional support, you might step over by the wall or a nearby piece of furniture, something you might grab onto. One of my repeated lame jokes, don't make it a chair with wheels on it. Bring your hands to your heart and shift your weight from one leg to the other with your feet on the ground. Just letting your feet find their way under your hips. Reminding each leg that it can take all the weight, grounding the feet. This is me stepping back. Camera work adjustment. You don't have to do that. And when you're ready, drop the weight into your left leg. Set your eyes on something straight ahead that's not going to move, something at about eye level to help steady yourself. Let the left knee remain bouncy, responsive. Pick up the right knee. Maybe your thigh comes parallel to the ground. Bring your knee out to the side like opening a door. And then bring your foot to your left leg. So maybe your toes are on the ground, heel on your ankle. Knee keeps going out to the side. The sole of your foot can also come to your calf, but to your thigh, just please never on the side of your knee. Hands can stay at the heart for steadying or explore growing the branches of your tree out. And maybe your tree is more still, or maybe there's breeze in the branches. So we never know. It's always an exploration. That's how I like to look at things. Now we're grounding just into one foot, standing on one leg. And I've got a pretty sharp pain going on right here, which I wondered if I'd be able to do this. And actually feels fine. Sort of probing against what's going on, but I'm not pushing through anything painful. See if I can ease it out through activity. So different ways to care for things is to not just to rest, but to ask what it wants. What does that sore spot need? I might have thought keeping my foot on the ground was better here, but the sore spot is, I think, benefiting from the forward expression with the leg higher, foot higher. Bring your hands back to your heart. Nice, steady, beautiful treat. Pivot your knee forward, let your foot down, and shake out your leg. And shake anything else that wants to shake. Sometimes we throw a little dance in there. Okay, the sore spot didn't like the dancing. When you're ready, bring your hands back to your heart. Shift from one leg to the other, regrounding your feet and resetting your hips. As many times as you like. It's okay to get ahead. When you're ready, drop your weight into the right leg and raise the left knee. Open the gate of your hip and bring your foot to your right leg. And take whatever arm expression you want. Maybe it's the same thing, maybe it's different. as I'm focusing on this sore spot I've got, be mindful of that hip. The hip in the standing leg, you want that hip to be above your knee and ankle. So sometimes the hip in the standing leg jets out to the side. That's going to be a less steady tree, maybe less engaged in the core, and less safe for the joints in that leg. So bringing the hip in, stacking the joints is good stability and helps increase the grounding. And sometimes the tree tips, sometimes they fall. If you fall, you're human. If you get up, you're human. I love that everybody's doing different things. Bring your hands back to your heart. Bring your knee forward, let your foot down, and shake out your leg. And I never say gracefully. I never do, unless it's in quotes like that. Okay. We did pretty well with that. We'll play with another standing on one leg. And it starts the same way, gets a bit more challenging, and gets into some hips and some more intense leg work. But it's really a great sequence for drawing energy to the midline and really focusing on this one-legged, one-footed grounding. So shift back and forth a few times. Drop the weight to your left leg when you're ready. Pick up your right knee. And this time what we're going to do is cross right ankle above left knee, dial right knee towards the floor, flex right toes towards right shin. Keep pressing your hands to your sternum and pressing your hands together. And you can always grab the wall. And we're going to sit, sort of like chair pose. So imagine there's a bench behind you. You're going to sit down cross-legged. Release the front of your left hip, back of your left knee, front of your left ankle. Same action in the leg and hip as with chair pose. Think of your elbows approaching your knee and your ankle. Now, on account of what's going on in my lower back, I'm not going to go so low today. Sometimes the elbows touch down, sometimes just one. It's nicely steadying when it does. It doesn't matter whether it happens or not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Keep breathing. Keep pressing those hands together, pressing them into your sternum. How much wonderful work that one foot and one leg is doing. Huh? We are just as grounded as when we're standing in Tadasana on both feet. Maybe wobbling more. Definitely engaged more. Inhale, slowly stand, uncross, release, shake it out. Very good. That's sometimes called standing half pigeon because it's a similar benefit to the hip without the pressing your weight down on your leg, which is a lot of force to put on your knee and your ankle. Depending on what you got going on in those joints, pigeon sometimes is just not a good idea. So that's a challenging one, but in some ways more accessible. Bring your hands to your heart. Shift your weight side to side. And as with tree here, we can use our gaze to help anchor ourselves. You can set your eyes on something that's not going to move. When you're ready, bring the weight to your right leg. Pick up your left knee. Cross your ankle above your right knee. Dial your left knee towards the floor. Flex your left toes towards your shin. And start to release downward. Of course, as you start to release, maybe your gaze slides down the wall. Now, with this pain I got going on, I'm not moving very much on this side. And that's just what I need. That's just me listening to my body. It doesn't want to go any lower than this, so I'm going to hang out here and keep thinking of releasing downward. And maybe I move some more, maybe I don't. Looks like I'm not going to, and that's okay. There's a little more, see? You never know. Sometimes in a couple breaths, some tension melts away. A little more movement happens. Beautiful. Inhale, slowly stand, uncross, release, shake as needed. There's any kind of movement at all. And let's have a seat. I like a little dance. Who doesn't like a little dance? I think most of us do. Sitting is wonderful grounding, huh? That's a lot of work in the legs. Great job. So let's bring the soles of the feet together with a good distance between heels and pelvis. This long diamond shape here inside the legs. And now we'll ground the hands. If you can, slide your hands under your ankles. Grab the floor. If that doesn't work for you, go over your ankles and grab the floor and walk your hands forward. So we use traction in the arms here to draw the body forward and down into a fold. Now I usually go way lower than this, but what's going on in the back of my hip here doesn't want me to today. I'm going to try going over my ankles, and I can go a little further. So I usually do this with my hands under my ankles, but today it feels better to go over. Breathe into your low back. Let your neck relax. When you inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. When you exhale, think of lowering some more. I did not set out today to talk so much about this pain I've got going on, but you know, it's very instructive. And it's good to model the behaviors that you're encouraging other people to do. It would not do for me to go through practice with you and pretend that I wasn't hurting, pretend I wasn't caring for something, and leaving you wondering, boy, he went way further in that pose the other day. What's going on? Inhaling, slowly walk your hands back and sit yourself up. Keeping your feet together, draw them in closer now. Get your heels as close into your pelvis as you can. And grab your toes, interlace your fingers. Wrap your hands over the tops of your feet. And then wriggle on your seat. Bring the bones in your seat closer to the ground, tilting your pelvis and increasing the grounding feeling there maybe. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward, keeping your spine long at first as you come down. When the long spine isn't lowering anymore, then let the neck relax and let your head bow and breathe into your hips. Perhaps your arms nudge your legs downward, nudge your hips open. And perhaps the fold deepens a bit with each exhale. Or maybe you're just thinking about deepening. This is a neat posture for grounding. You really feel your feet in your seat pressing to the ground. Inhale, slowly sit up. Let your arms help your legs so don't strain anything here. Lift your knees towards each other and rest your feet on the floor. Plant your hands. A little more grounding to explore this movement. Wiggle your feet out further and let your knees drift back and forth to whatever degree they want to. Now, mine aren't going very far today. The aforementioned twinge I've got going on one side. So let your knees go as far as they want. Maybe they go down to the floor, maybe they don't. So at one side, I can go to the floor, the other side. So you're getting a little deeper. Easing out some of that unneeded tension over there. Without hurting myself, just probing against it. And look at that progress. Barely moved on the first repetition, and now I'm back where I usually am. So the instinct might be to sit on the couch and take it easy and not practice because something hurts. But exploring what's going on, it can be so helpful and instructive. And we're going to increase our grounding and lie down. There's some good news. I will spin myself. Shift the perspective here. Going to scoot towards your heels. Come down onto your forearms and down onto your back. Set up for some bridge pose. Bring your heels in as close to your butt as you can. Press into the soles of your feet and inhale to lift your hips up to bridge, which I'm not actually doing. I'm just going to talk through it. Because what I've got going on in my back really doesn't want to do that movement. As you exhale, slowly lower your hips and explore bridge at your pace for a minute or so. Inhale to lift up and exhale to lower down. You can go as high as you want, go as slow as you want. It might not even show on video. I'm actually playing with a little pelvic tilt and lifting my hips to the degree that my body will let me right now. So it's not really much of a bridge movement, but I'm exploring the same energy you are. And I'm actually getting a little more movement. Maybe by now, yeah, my hips are lifting a few inches. And feel the grounding shift. First, you've got all your back on the ground, and then as you go up, maybe it becomes just your shoulder blades and your feet. And of course, your hands and arms are resting, mostly providing some steadiness. They're not doing a lot of work, but just contact, just that much more surface area of the body being on the ground stabilizes the whole movement, stabilizes the upper portion of the movement, the bridge pose. And let your next exhale down be the last one. Then cross your left ankle above your right knee. Make a figure 4 shape with your legs. Same shape as we're doing in that standing half pigeon thing. And next, a little more exploration in the hips, but this will be a grounding exploration too. So before you even move on from here, inventory what's on the ground. Right foot, sacrum, shoulder blades, back of the head. Now we're going to move the foot. I want you to have the back of your head and your shoulder blades and your sacrum remaining on the ground. Bring your hands to your right thigh. If you can, you interlace your fingers behind your leg, but if you can't, just grab the sides of your thigh or your pant leg. Draw your right knee in towards you. So maybe you come on the ball of the right foot, or maybe you lift the whole foot. And the knee's not going to move a lot, and that's okay. This is about exploring in the hips. Sacrum on the ground, shoulder blades on the ground, head on the ground. Breathing into your hips. And then bring your left hand to the inside of your left knee. Nudge your left knee out as you continue to draw your right knee in. So not a lot of movement with those knees, but maybe a lot of energy in the hips. Maybe a lot of release. See what the breath does in this particular dynamic shape. Relax your arms and let your right foot land again. And keeping the legs there, we'll go ahead and take an energizing twist. Reach your arms out to the sides. Keeping your shoulders on the ground. Now your sacrum will lift as you come into this. Let your legs fall to the right and turn your head to the left. And don't worry about how far your legs go. Let your shoulders stay grounded. And maybe you feel your hands pressing to the ground too. Maybe the right side of your foot and ankle on the ground. Maybe the sole of the left foot touches down. Maybe even the right knee lands. Just see what's grounded. Come back up to center and switch the cross of your legs. Plant your left foot, cross your right ankle above your left knee. Bring your hands to your left thigh. Draw your left knee towards you, picking up your left heel or maybe your whole left foot. Breathing into your hips. Sacrum, shoulder blades, head, all remaining grounded. Sometimes as we take hold of the leg and draw the knee in, we lift the head, lift the shoulder blades, make it more of a crunch. It's not what it's about. We want to stay nice and grounded, make it more about the hips. Move your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Nudge your right knee away as you draw your left knee towards you. Allow your arms to relax and let your left foot down. Extend your arms out to the sides again. Shoulders stay grounded. Let your legs go to the left and turn your head to the right. And let your breath wring you out. Take your time to bring everything back to center. Uncross your legs. Bring your knees towards your chest. Hug your knees. Explore rocking and rolling motions, massaging your back against the ground. Grounding massage. And reach your feet towards the sky. Reach your hands up. Take hold of your legs or feet, however you like, and play with bending and straightening your arms and legs. So you don't have to grab your toes. You might grab your shins, your ankles. You can even just grab behind your knees. Variation I'm exploring today on account of this back issue I've said so much about. And there's no wrong way to be a happy baby, right? Move how you want, take hold where you want, laugh if you want. I'm going to do this in the children's classes. They all generally insist on making baby noises when they do happy baby. And if there's another inversion you would rather do, please feel free to do it. Explore inverting as long as you like. And when you're ready, you can make your way to Shavasana. So maybe you come to corpse pose, the customary way to end with the legs extended, feet splayed open, Hands resting out at your sides, palms up or pinky edge of the hands on the ground, eyes closed. If this isn't comfortable, get comfortable, whatever that looks like for you. So sometimes the lower back doesn't feel good lying flat, and it can feel better to plant your feet with your knees pointing up, maybe leaning in towards each other. That can be nicely grounding in the low back. Alternately, you might bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees splay out. Like that, you might put blocks under those knees to take the weight of your legs. You can conclude practice in any posture where you can be comfortably still for a couple of minutes to breathe and integrate the benefits of your practice. And only you know what's comfortable for you. Maybe what's comfortable shifts and you reposition. You can always change your mind. Maybe focusing on your breath. Maybe focusing on grounding, feeling each bit of contact with the floor as you lie here quietly breathing, noticing how the contact changes with the movements of your breath. Maybe coming back to an intention you'd set for yourself to reflect upon it. Maybe thinking about other senses of grounding, other ways of grounding. What helps you to ground? What helps you to feel grounded? It's spending time with certain people, time on certain activities, even certain music, certain readings, certain foods might be grounding for you. What else can you do with the rest of your day to ground yourself? Maybe with each exhale, you feel a little more grounded. Maybe as bits of remaining excess tension dissolve, the contact with the ground increases ever so slightly with the end of each breath. Maybe send gratitude towards the earth for holding you up. Gratitude towards your body for supporting you through your practice, through your day. Grounding your spirit in this physical presence. Start to give yourself some deeper breaths. Let your body slowly begin to move around bit by bit, letting small movements lead gradually to bigger and bigger movements. Any movements that you like. Gently and mindfully, when your movements grow bigger and bigger, when you're ready, carefully sit yourself up. There's no rush. You don't want to rush out of that delicious Shavasana feeling. If you like, bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for coming together to share practice this morning. The light within me sees and honors and bows to that same light within each of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
If you haven't, namaste. If you haven't already, please visit us at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center page on Facebook, and check out the digital tip jar information where you can contribute and support our efforts here in the Zoom age. Thank you to those who already contributed for this today. And questions and feedback are always welcome, and that goes for the folks on YouTube too. Please drop comments and let me know how I can make this better for you.